Hi folks, Steven here. So this is going to be a recap of my time over the weekend at the Pokemon Midwest Regionals 2023 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So I, as usual, have a little presentation here. I spent most of my time doing side events. This is actually what I usually do with these things. So if you're looking for me at one of these tournaments, that's where you should be looking. Alright, well first off, let's go ahead and just get straight into the slideshow. Okay, we're going to start off here with a little bit of a public service announcement. So, as most of you probably know, in August, we have the World Championships in Yokohama, Japan, and it turns out that they're doing a lottery system for spectator passes, and the way those are going to work is basically you have to have an account on the RK9 Labs website and express some interest there. But the reason I want to bring this up now is that the deadline for expressing some sort of interest is at the end of June 7th. We're recording this on the 6th, so in other words, if you're watching this the day after I put this up, you have a day to go in there and do that. And basically they'll draw some numbers, send those out, see if they get claimed, and after 72 hours, they'll take any that are unclaimed, send those to the next people, so on and so forth. So, I do have my request in, so we'll see what I can do. If you don't get a spectator pass, hopefully it'll be like last year where there's a bunch of stuff to do outside the actual tournament hall, and there's a lot of people to meet and stuff like that, so it won't be completely left out in the cold. So hopefully that's what they're doing there. Although I do think you will, as you had to last year, you need a spectator badge to basically get into not only the tournament area, but also where side events were and stuff like that, which seems, to be honest, a little bit odd. But in any case, yes, so do sign up for that. Alright, on to our feature presentation. Yes, Midwest Regionals 2023. So, obviously there was no Midwest Regionals in 2020 or 2021. There was one last year. This year was in the same place. It was in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, at the Wisconsin Center. You can see it there. They're actually doing some construction on there to add on some additional capacity towards the, I think the north end of it. If you look on the map, you can probably see where it's going there, but they're adding just more venue capacity and other stuff in there to keep pace with other venues, I'm sure. But in any case, we're back up on the third floor for this one. Alright, so how did I get there? Well, this was technically, a 2.5 day event, but on Friday I just used that as my transportation day. So you can see here I got some food from a place called Cluck, and this is actually here in Madison. What I ended up doing is I ended up taking the bus from Madison to Milwaukee, and as it turns out, basically I want to get some food here in Madison, and not too far from where the intercity bus terminal is. This place called the Nitty Gritty. So you're probably wondering, well, what does that have to do with the chicken restaurant? So Cluck is a virtual or shadow kitchen restaurant or something like that. And as a result, it took me a little while to figure it out, but I had to go into the Nitty Gritty, ask them about it, and then they gave me my food. As you can see, I had some chicken strips there. Those were pretty good. I also got a Banana Foster's shake with actual banana chips in it. So that was a kind of nice thing. But the trip over to Milwaukee was pretty uneventful. It took about an hour and a half by bus. Part of the reason I went with bus is also that means I didn't have to park my car downtown in Milwaukee for like $20, $30 a day, which was also very nice. Alright, so Saturday, first actual day for me at the venue. Alright, so here's a wide angle that shows a decent part of it. Like I said, this is up on the third floor of the Wisconsin Center. You can see a good portion of the TCG area. If you look in the way back, you can see some banners there. But this gives you kind of an idea of the amount of floor space. Now off to the right, if we could see more, you'd see where the actual main stages are. So they were using pretty much all the space they had in there, but it seems decently well organized with maybe a few exceptions. Alright, so I spent most of my time over in the side events area. You can see the prize wall here. So the way this usually works at the major events is that at side events, you'll get, at the end, you'll get a certain number of points based on how well you did and what the type of the event is, and basically you can redeem those. And you can see they have a selection, a fairly wide selection of prizes here. Number of plushes, they have some beach balls. Of course, it is early June, so we're just getting into the summer travel season. And one thing I found interesting, so I believe these are actually, they were referred to me as Pokemon, Batrio chips, but no, I believe these are Treta chips, the successor arcade game there. I have one or two of them from some CDs I bought from Japan, but they had a nice selection here, and I did end up picking up one of those. In fact, you can see it right there. It's the Slowpoke one, down towards the bottom middle there. So that was the one I ended up picking up. Those seem to be somewhat popular, so that was kind of cool. Okay, and now here's the console free play area. Now, this is another angle on it. This is kind of the reverse of the one I showed you before. Oddly, the console free play, usually they seem to try to want to keep those close to the side events because, you know, there's some correlation there. People who are in between games or people who are not participating in the main event, there seems to be some crossover, or, well, people are waiting for some of the side events to happen. But in this particular case, it was just on the opposite corner of the floor layout, and I'm not sure. I think there might have been fewer people over here at the console free play area. I'm not sure if that was because, maybe because Pokemon Stadium is on the Switch Online now, you can play all the mini games there. Maybe people got there filled, but you can see some other stuff. If you look carefully at the picture, you'll see the original Pokemon pinball towards the top left there. There's some stadium a little bit on the TV below it, so on and so forth. But they had the usual selection there. Pokken Tournament was on a couple of those. Pokemon Snap, Puzzle League, Coliseum. So kind of about what you would expect there. Alright, well I did do, in addition to all the side events, I actually played in a number of build-in battles. We'll get back to that after I, first of all, cover what was happening with Pokemon Go. So, yeah, first off, I want to point out this fountain at the Delta Airlines Center. The Wisconsin Center has an interesting naming history. For many years, it was known as the Midwest Express Center. Then Frontier bought Midwest and named it as that. But then they sold their contract towards the end to Delta. And then that expired, and now it's just known as the Wisconsin Center. Not sure if they're seeking a naming rights company at this point. But in any case, you can see that the Pokestop name has not changed. So sometime in the last 7 years or so, it's been known as the Delta Airlines South Center. In any case, one thing I did get, there was a level 5 raid that popped up right in the convention center. They had a bunch of stops set up, but also a couple gyms for the event. And I got a shiny Azelf. Now, it wasn't super great. It was 3 stars, but certainly not 100% on there. But I was still pretty happy to get that. I have plenty of Azelfs, but still, I believe this is my first shiny of that. Now, I just want to briefly talk about the side events. They were all run pretty well. They used the pager system that they did back in last year for events that don't fill up that quickly, so that way you could do other stuff there. And kind of unfortunately, they were stuck with the first Scarlet and Violet. They did not have the permission to use Paldea Evolved. I guess I'll have to wait. I guess it's this weekend in Fresno. If you're going to that, they're able to do that. But certainly at internationals in Columbus, they'll be having that. So looking forward to that, but still enjoyed it a lot. I'll show you some of the cards I got a bit later. But first, let's talk about my Saturday dinner. So this one, you can probably tell by the picture, things got kind of mixed up a bit in transit. Now luckily my beverages ended up getting here just fine, but the food itself kind of got mixed in together. I don't know if that was the fault of the restaurant, the delivery driver. The food tasted okay, pretty much. Su Casa, or Tu Casa, I'm not sure for Mexican Spanish what's the correct way to say it, but restaurant and bar. I've probably ordered from them before at some point, but all the same, this is a shrimp dish that they had there, so tasted fine. Alright, let's go on to Sunday, the second day. Main highlight I have from there is that some of you will recognize the person in this picture on the right. I hope you recognize the person on the left, because that's me. But over on the right you see Vince Kreckler, who is a longtime Premier Tournament organizer, and I'm interviewing him here because he is one of the founding members of Day 2 Events, basically it's a collaboration between him and Jimmy Ballard, who also some of you will know if you're from this part of the country, one of the other major tournament organizers, and they're sort of in charge of all the regionals in sort of this general vicinity for Pokemon. Pokemon only really operates like internationals and worlds on their own. For regionals, they sort of farm that out. Although I think at regionals they do have like a rep or two there to keep an eye on things and see how they're going. But you can see I did this interview with him. It's about a 3-minute interview, and I hope to have it up this weekend. It should also go out on the next Digest podcast episode, which should hopefully be later this month. But look forward to that. It was interesting. Even though I've known Vince for quite some time, it was fun to catch up with him a little bit here. All right. So here's some pulls. I don't know that I got anything super spectacular over the course of the weekend, even though I played about 4 or 5 build-in battles and about 3 or 4 different pack battles. I guess maybe Scarlet and Violet, the original set, is kind of all well and known to me. I don't know. In any case, I wanted to point out a few things. First of all, on the left, there's Hawlucha from Scarlet and Violet, and it has that great little ability that lets you put a damage counter on 2 of your opponent's benched Pokemon. There were times where I got multiple of those in the same build-in battle kit, and that was pretty helpful. Then we got Professor's Research in the middle, which is not that special a card normally, but this is the Professor Sada full art version, which I'm told is fairly valuable. So I did put that in the sleeve to protect it. And then over on the right-hand side, Armor Rouge, is probably how it's pronounced. Boy, I really can't wait for the anime to start here, because we'll get all the official pronunciations then, for sure. But I just like the art there. Also has an interesting ability. I think I tried using this in a pack battle of sorts. One interesting thing is with all the limited events, so that's the build-in battles and the pack battles, under normal rules, basic energy counts as the type it is, but for this weekend they twisted the rules a little bit and let it count as all types of energy, which did some interesting stuff. So that was kind of fun. And the pack battles, of course, use the mutant evolution rules, where you can evolve any basic into any stage 1 and then that into any stage 2. So neat stuff there. Alright, so dinner on Sunday. I had to sort of decide, do I want to wait till I got back to Madison to eat dinner or eat something in Milwaukee? And I decided to eat something in Milwaukee because it does take a while to get back to my apartment, because I'm not driving direct back from Milwaukee and whatnot. So I went to this place called The King and I, which is a Thai restaurant in downtown Milwaukee. And I have to say, I may have ordered from there, like delivery before, but this is my first time going there in person, and I have to say, first of all, the restaurant is really nice. I didn't feel, well, maybe a little underdressed, but they seem to expect that too much. Dressed nice and fancy, especially, or whatever. But in any case, I ordered this, this is a pork, a curry type dish, with some peanut sauce over on the right-hand side there with that little stewish thing there, and then also some rice on the left. Food there was really excellent, really good. In fact, I ordered an extra serving of rice afterwards so I could have more of the curry sauce on it. So, one of the best meals I've ever had, and I do recommend, if you're in Milwaukee, try and get in there if you can. They've got, I can't speak for their entire menu, but what I had was quite good. Okay, overall thoughts. Well, first of all, another fun event. This year, they didn't have the same, you didn't have to wear a mask the whole time. Well, some people didn't. If you want to do that for one reason or another, that's fine. That's up to you. But overall, I had a lot of fun, met a lot of nice people, obviously did some marketing stuff there. Let's see, I still am kind of curious why the retro games were kitty corner away from the side game area. I like it when those two are next to each other just because I think they pair well logistically. I don't know if the layout forced them into that. I didn't really ask around about that. I'm guessing it was just the way things got planned out. And can't wait for North American Internationals. I do have a spectator pass for that for sure. So can't tell you about Worlds until probably at least this weekend. But North American Internationals is at the end of this month in Columbus, and I am definitely looking forward to that. Alright, so at the end of this, I'd like to do a little update on the Pokecasters Network family of shows. Let's see. Yeah, PokeScience has a... I'm not sure exactly where we're going with this, but through the Ultra Wormhole, Ratatatatouille. You figure that one out. Let's see, Welcome to the World of Pokemon is up to episode 143, Snorlax, so getting very close to the end of the Kanto Pokedex. Let's see, not a scratch. Let's see, they are kind of gotten to, I hope, near the end of Arc 5, but they have recently put out a couple of Arc summary episodes for Arc 1 and Arc 2. So that's something you can take a listen to. That's a tabletop podcast, I believe. Let's see, and then we have the PokePress Digest podcast. Yes, my podcast. This was a couple weeks ago. I published this over, over Memorial Day weekend, and this is episode 65, discussing the music of Pokemon Ranger Guardian Signs. So yeah, that is the third and final, at least thus far, Pokemon Ranger game, and it has some, I guess, pretty interesting music. They go, it's keeping in line with the series, but it definitely sort of goes a little bit further. And of course, if that's not enough for you, last Wednesday, I believe, Anne and I did our discussion live of Pokemon Conquest. So that'll be the rough cut of that discussion. The podcast version that will come out sometime later this year, most likely. So yeah, been pretty busy the last couple weeks. Alright, well that does it for the slideshow there. But overall, really did enjoy my time over at the regionals. Part of me wants to get to, like, there are a couple other ones that are not that ridiculously far away, but yeah, I don't know, between the other conventions and other stuff I try to cover, I feel like I've got enough Pokemon events. I guess I just wish they were spread out a little bit differently. I don't know. But in any case, if you have any thoughts or any questions, go ahead and drop us a line. Alright, well, thanks, folks, and see you again soon.